Hi everybody,
It's the Bug Whisperer
and NathanWolf. We are here today to show you how to make custom items, I guess,
Yes.
in Magic, and we're also going to go over, I think, the resource pack part. People ask me about that a lot. It's not really something that has anything to do with the plugin directly, but it's cool to be able to add stuff to resource packs, and that way you can add your own.
Customizes it more too.
Yeah, so you can have like your own custom items that look custom. So I think right now we're actually going to drop out of the game and go show you how to set up a resource pack using some art that the Bug Whisperer has made, and our goal is to make a craftable, toastable sandwich. Yes, sandwich time. Alright, so if you've never made a resource pack before, it's a zip file, which is like an archive of a bunch of different files that can include textures for new items in Minecraft. Well, not really new items, but new appearances of existing items, I guess. Java doesn't really let you make new items, but we're going to fake it as best we can.
Yes.
And then resource packs also include these files called JSON files, and I think that's where some people maybe get a little lost. It's a little codey, but it's really just kind of the glue that holds your images together and tells Minecraft when to use them. So we're going to add 3 new items, and the Bug Whisperer has made some art for these. We have a bread slice, so we're going to be able to slice bread.
We're going to be able to slice bread using a stone cutter, which may sound a bit weird, but it is a giant saw, so...
It looks like it would slice bread pretty good,
pretty
I thought. And with that sliced bread, you'll be able to make sandwiches. So you put some ingredients together on a crafting table with some sliced bread, you get a sandwich, and then you can toss that on a campfire, which we thought was just kind of a fun way to toast your sandwich.
And you can get a toasted sandwich.
To make a toasted sandwich, yeah, exactly. So in general, I am a big fan of learning by examples. So if you don't know how to do this, if you do a little bit of Googling, you can pull the built-in resource pack out of your Minecraft client. I don't recommend downloading it from anywhere. It's sort of dubiously legal, but if you have bought Minecraft, you can go into Minecraft itself, and depending on your platform, somewhere in there are all these assets. So it's a fun way to learn by looking at how things work. So for instance, for us, we want to make a new resource pack, and this is kind of what they look like. They always start with assets, Minecraft. I guess we got realms here, but we're not going to worry about that. So we're going to do something similar. We're going to create a new folder called assets, and then inside of that, we're going to make one called Minecraft. And then inside of that, for the things we want to add, we are going to have models, and we're going to have textures. So we're going to add both of those, and really we only want textures, but like I said, the models are sort of like the glue that holds things together. We're going to make an item, so I like to put those in the item folder with the rest, and then I usually just call it custom. We call it sandwich, call it whatever you want, but since this is like your custom stuff, that's where I would put everything. And what we actually want to do is to take all of your artwork, and we're going to stick it in the assets folder, Minecraft, textures, item, custom. I know it's a long and winding path, but that is where I would put them. But if you just drop those in there and make a resource pack, it's not going to do anything. Minecraft doesn't know what to do with those textures. It's got some textures in there that just kind of hang out and don't do anything. So if we want to add those, we need to put it on an existing item. For our purposes, I think we are going to take bread. So we want models item, and we'll go over here. This is again just the vanilla resource pack, so it has everything in it. So under models item, you'll see there's a file here for every single item in the game.
There is a lot.
Yes, but we want bread, so we're going to look for bread.
Should be pretty close to the top since it's probably in alphabetical order.
It is, but there's a lot of them. So once we have bread, you can click on it. You can see it's a pretty simple file. You open this in just your favorite text editor. If you're on a Mac, you use TextEdit. If you're on Windows, you use Notepad. If you have something fancier for JSON, that's great. It can be a little easy to break, so we'll look at in a little bit some tools that will help with that. But if you open this up, it's pretty simple. It's just got a texture that says item bread. So there's not much in this file yet, but we can add more. Minecraft, depending on your version, has a few different ways to make different appearances for the same item. So we can have a bread item that looks like different things. If you're on 1.14 or up, there's a system that I prefer to use. It's called custom model data, and it was made specifically for this. So you can have a data tag on the item in game, and then you have something in the resource pack that tells Minecraft what appearance to use for that item if it happens to have that specific data tag on it, if that makes sense. It sounds a little complicated. It's not really. But again, sometimes the best way to learn is by examples. So let's go to Magic's code. You might not be a coder, but you could still, sometimes learn from example here. So we go to GitHub. This is just github/lbucket/magic plugin. And then you can click on code. And it's kind of, again, long, windy path, but you go Magic Source Resource Pack. So these are all the resource packs that Magic has. The default one kind of has all the stuff in it, basically. So again, you'll see the same assets, Minecraft, and we have models item, and these are all the items that Magic uses. And if you use Magic, you use the resource pack, you probably know that a lot of items are sticks, like the wand appearances, wands in general.
And blaze rods.
Blaze rods are the staffs. I usually use the staffs, yeah. So just as an example, let's pick one and go into stick. You'll notice the top here looks a lot like ours. It just has a parent, which is item generated or item handheld. It just depends on what kind of item it is, but just stick with whatever the vanilla thing is. In my experience, I don't really know the difference. Honestly, I just use whatever they use. Mojang knows best. Then it has the textures on it, so that's the same as up here, you see, except this obviously says stick instead of bread. But the difference is we have added these overrides. An override means do something different depending on something. The depending on part is called a predicate, and there are different types of predicates. We used to use damage predicates, so we would have to damage the item for it to appear differently. But in this case, it is custom model data. So this says if there is a custom model data number of 1,000 or 18,001, I picked a random number for Magic stuff, so it would hopefully not collide with other plugins.
Yeah.
But for your purposes, if you're making your own resource pack for your own server, you can just start with 1, which is what we'll do for this tutorial. And then it says model, and then it has a model. If we go to the code here, you see models, item, custom, old survival wand. So if we look here, all these files are here, and these are the files that describe our own our wands and other appearances and things that we put on the stick. So this is the first one, old survival wand. Now this gets really complicated because this is actually a 3D model. So we won't be getting into that too much, but just so you know, you can make 3D models with this. There are some great apps for that, like Blockbench is the one that a lot of the people that have made resource pack items for my plugin use. So that's something, maybe on an advanced level if you want like a 3D sandwich and you want to test out your voxel editing.
Yeah, I know at least I'm really bad at 3D block benching. I don't know what it's called, but
it's a harder way to design things for sure. But we're gonna keep it relatively simple for now. So let's go back to our stick. I would actually just recommend you kind of copy and paste this. So we're gonna take this line and we're gonna go back to our bread. So it's important, you need to put a comma here. Because it's kind of separates things in a list. You can see like here's an item in the list that says parent, here's an item that says textures, and each part of the list is separated by a comma. So we're going to have a comma, and we're going to put a new section called overrides, which is a list of these different predicates. So we're going to just start with 1. Custom model data 1 is going to be our, what should we put first?
How about the bread slice, since that's normally what you'd start off with?
That's true, it's logical, huh? And then we want to copy just this one line, because as you can see there's a bunch of different predicates in this long list, so we kind of want to mimic that. So we're going to copy this line 2 more times, because we have a bread slice, we have a sandwich, and we have a toasted sandwich, right? So we'll make this one sandwich. I guess we're going in that order, and then it would be
and then it'd be the toasted
the last
sandwich.
step. Yeah.
Unless you're like cheating somehow. I don't even know how you'd possibly do that.
Now it's important for this to be proper JSON, which doesn't maybe mean a lot to most folks, but there's a great website, jasonlint.com. So if you're having trouble, definitely I recommend you go here, just paste in your thing, hit this button, and it will tell you what's wrong with it. In my case, there's a comma here that shouldn't be. So I'll go get rid of this. So I said you need a comma to separate each list item, but there's no list item here, right? So we don't want that comma. And then there's still going to be something wrong with it. And it might be a little harder to, I wish this was actually tell you more, sadly, but it says there's something wrong. This is a list, so if you notice here, there's a little like square bracket as opposed to the curly bracket, right? It's kind of hard to tell. That's curly and that's a square. Square brackets are like lists, and then the curly brackets are more like properties. So like this is a, this says layer 0 is this, parent is this, because this is inside of curly braces. This is inside of a square brace, so it's a list of things. So this is a list item with a comma, list item with a comma. That makes sense. So we need this here to be the end of that list. And hopefully this will now say, yay,
everything's good.
Valid. So now that we have this, this points to not our textures, unfortunately. It'd be nice if it was that simple, but it's not. It actually points to models. So now we have our model item bread, which points to item custom, and then 3 different things. We need a custom folder here, and then we're going to need a file for each of those.
So we need 3 files?
Yeah. And we can copy our bread, but now our bread is kind of more complicated, and these don't need to be complicated. So we can do this one, and it's not going to be Minecraft item bread. We are going to be item custom bread slice. I think I underscored that.
I think you did too.
So this would be bread slice, and then we just do that same thing for sandwich. And
the toasted sandwich. Did we do an underscore for that one too?
We did.
It seems so, since the other one has an underscore.
I usually use underscores for no particular reason. I like the way they look in place of spaces better. So then we have toasted sandwich, and finally sandwich. And these are just, we just copy the default vanilla bread item and change the texture. So that's all this is doing. So it'll just be a normal kind of 2-dimensional Minecraft item, like we're used to seeing, but with a custom texture. Now, we basically have a resource pack ready to go, except there's a specific file that has to be there too that you can see actually does not exist in the vanilla one. Today I learned. So if we go back again, the magic resource pack is a great example of how to make a functional resource pack if you need one. So you see at the root here, there's a couple other things. You can have an image. I want to say that's optional. Just something to show off. When you're browsing resource packs, it's this image here that shows up. So you can make that something if you want. But the important thing is this Pack.mcmeta. This is a file that describes your resource pack, and I think it will not load if you don't have such a file. So what we're going to do is make a new one. We're just going to paste that in there right out of there. Pack format depends on what version of Minecraft you're on. 7 is the current format for 1.17. And that kind of
imagine this in the future.
Yeah, exactly. You might need an 8 in the future, or if you're running an old server, you might need a 6 or lower. So, figure that out, I guess. Description, sandwiches. Very exciting. And then we're going to save this in our little sandwich place. And this needs to be pack.mcmeta. All right, so now we're ready. We have our pack.mcmeta, which is the important thing for Minecraft, to load your resource pack. And we just need to zip it up. How you do that depends on your system. I think, for Windows and Macs, probably basically the same. The important thing is that these files need to be at the root. I don't think you want to, if you just zip up this folder, I think you'll get a zip that's got a folder in it, and that won't work. So if you highlight all these files, and then for me, it'd be right-click, compress, that will make a zip file. You might want to rename it to something, and then you've got to put it in the right place. So in Minecraft, you go into resource packs, and then open resource pack folder, and that will open the right folder. Just drop your zip in there. And then go back over here. Sadly, there's no refresh button that I'm aware of, so now you have to hit done and then go back, and you'll hopefully see
sandwiches. Or whatever you made.
Yes. So let's see if it worked. So then we'll go on our server with that resource pack enabled and see what happens. So how would you see this, you might ask? If you give yourself bread, as long as we didn't mess anything up, it should look just like normal bread, hopefully. But our bread has custom model data on it. So you need to give yourself an item that has a custom model data tag. In Magic, I tried to make this pretty easy. So you do bread, and then there's curly brackets, and then the model data, and then end curly brackets is kind of a shortcut. You can also actually do tags. You can do any kind of tags like this, for instance.
Hey! We got some bread.
But it's a sandwich. They're all sandwiches.
They're all sandwiches.
Sandwiches all the way down. Let's go look and see what we might have done here. Where's our bread file? Bread.
Sandwiches.
Oops. This is a common programming error that we lovingly refer to as copy pasta. When you copy and paste something, but maybe don't quite edit it. Yeah, you see the problem?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if we can fix the problem. These should all be different numbers, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think the way Minecraft works is the last thing that claims a number is what won. So that's why toasted sandwich was the winner.
It's all of them.
Everything looked like toasted sandwich. So we'll save that, and then we'll go back here, and we will recompress it. It's always a good idea to name these differently, I find. Minecraft, in my experience anyway, is not happy if you just replace that file, which is kind of a pain. So now we got to go in here, resource packs, take off sandwiches, add sandwiches to. If anybody has a better way to like test resource packs, I would love to hear it, because this is kind of a big pain, and I do this a lot, so I would love to know. There we go. So now you can see down here we have our bread. Here are our sliced bread. Sorry, yeah, bread, sliced bread, sandwich, toasted sandwich.
Toasted sandwich.
So that is it for the resource pack. There's really only one thing left that you might want. If you are using Magic and you're using some of the built-in configs, you might be using the Magic resource pack. So, you know, you have your items. It's awesome we have sandwiches and bread. Not so awesome that we don't get our spell icons, wands, all the other cool stuff that comes with Magic. But that's actually pretty easy to fix. There's a website called merge.lmakers.com where you can merge two resource packs together. To get Magic's resource pack, there's a command, get RP URL. It'll give you the resource pack. This is the correct one for whatever you're using. So whatever examples you have turned on, or whatever server version, I definitely recommend you use that command to make sure you get the right one. So that will download Magic's resource pack. We can pick it to merge with our sandwich pack, which I will, just for convenience, rezip so I don't have to go find it. It doesn't really matter what we call that. So what this tool does is, whoops. Well, we're cheating a little bit. So, spoiler alert, we've added the sandwich and all these things to Magic already, so they were already in the resource pack. So this is just telling us I'm not gonna, I don't know what to do with these two files. But what this tool does is it actually takes your JSON files. So, we have a bread file here. Magic also has a bread file now because we added the sandwich to it. So it's an intelligent merge. It's not just copying all the files together. You could do that yourself, but it's actually, it'll take the Magic bread predicates and it will combine them with our bread predicates so that all the bread works together. And we can actually show you exactly what this means. Let's go here. So we have our merged. And where's my, there we go. We're gonna put merged in here. And then we're gonna switch to that. And you can see it now has the Magic logo. Yeah, that came from the Magic resource pack. But I think if you would have one in there, it wouldn't replace it. It would take the second one of whatever two you picked. No, the dreaded giant purple cube.
Why is it so big?
Yeah. So if you mess up something in your resource pack, this is kind of what you get. You get a giant purple cube, and I'm actually not sure why we did that. So we ran into a little issue with our merge tool, which is why we had the dreaded giant black and purple cubes instead of our beautiful bread items that we really wanted to see and eat. We got that fixed. The website's fixed, so hopefully none of you will run into that same problem. And now we have our hopefully fixed resource packs that we're about to test installed. So what we'd like to do is first check and see that our wands are here and our spells are here. All the cool Magic stuff is there, so that part of the merge worked. Next, we'd like to see if our special items that we were trying to add actually made it into the resource pack. So to do that, you would do /mgive to give yourself something. The item is bread, and then Magic has a shortcut for custom model data, which is just a curly bracket and then number and a closed curly bracket. So which one are you doing first?
One.
One.
Which
and that
will
should be
bread slice.
Let's see.
And it looks like
it's
a
bread slice, and it looks like it to me too. It's
good.
kind of giant, but we could tweak that in the resource packet. I don't know. It got flattened in the slicing process. We don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So let's try the other two. Can you give yourself a sandwich the same way?
Yes.
Sandwich!
Have a sandwich!
Your bread transformed into a sandwich in front of my very eyes.
Yes.
And it functions as a lawnmower, apparently. All right, so last but not least, the ever so slightly different looking toasted sandwich. I'm waiting for the transformation. Oh, it got slightly darker. All right, so that seemed to work. So that's how you can merge your custom resource pack with Magic's resource pack or any other resource pack. You could combine multiples by running it through multiple times to kind of build your own custom resource pack. The only trick now is if you want to use this on a server, you have to find somewhere to host it. I believe Dropbox still works and is free. The trick is you have to find somewhere that will give you a direct link, and that's very important. So you basically just upload it and you get the URL for the direct link, and you put that in either your server properties, or I recommend you use Magic. You can do /mconfig configure resource pack, or wait, config resource pack, and then the URL to your resource pack you could paste in here. That'll set up so that Magic works just like it does with the default resource pack, only using yours, and then players can choose to use it or not use it just as they normally would. We have our resource pack now, and the next step is how to get these items in game. Right now they're all bread.
They're all bread.
So it's a little, you know, like we want them to be different, right? We don't want sliced bread to be the same as bread.
Because that'd be a bit OP, because you get 2 slices for 1 bread.
That's true. Everybody would be slicing their bread. It'd be the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
You're too young. Don't even know that expression.
I don't.
Yeah, it's cool. So in the next part, we will be working on making these actual items that do something. We're thinking, you know, like you said, you slice the bread and then you make the sandwiches. So we think, you know, sliced bread's going to be less food than regular bread.
Yeah.
Like half would make sense.
Probably half.
But then sandwich is going to be like real tasty.
It's going to fill it up like half of your hunger.
Yeah, that sounds good. And then like toasted sandwiches, maybe a little extra on top of that. It doesn't really take, you know, a little bit extra time. But
half plus 2.
Yeah. So right now, if I munch on this, I think it's giving me 3 or 2 hunger back, right? Just like normal bread would. Because right now they are bread. There's nothing special about them. They're just vanilla items that just even just says bread. They're just bread. So in part 2, we'll work on making it not bread, making it special. So this ended up taking a little longer than I expected, so we decided to break this up into 2 videos. So this has been part 1, how to add your custom items.
The resource pack and all that.
Yeah, but currently, as you saw, the items don't do anything. So hopefully as soon as we can get to it, there'll be a part 2 where we'll be doing the coding part, which is kind of the more exciting part.
Yes.
So thank you for watching, and we hope to see you next time.